Hey you guys, it's Peter and welcome to my channel, Peter Likes Books. And today I'm gonna do my June TBR. Now, I have been reading between 3 and 5 books a month. So my TBR for June is very, as Books and Lala said, ambitious. And none of this counts my Audible books that I'm gonna read this month. So I will also probably do like an Audible, what do you call it, TBR for this month, or to be read. I don't say to be read anymore. I usually say like want to read, because these are all books, I mean all of my books I want to read, but I just don't ever get to them, right? So I pulled out like, I don't know, 10 books that I want to read, and we're gonna go through each of them, and I'm gonna talk about why I picked it for specifically June, because I do pick books for certain months and others. Excuse me. And it was interesting because when I was going through my books over there, I was like, no, I'm gonna wait till July or August for this. So let's get into that. Now first I wanna say that there are 2 books, well 3 actually, that we are reading for Peter's Book Club. If you don't know anything about Peter's Book Club, I've done a lot of videos about it. Go check it out. It's on Goodreads as well. The link is below all of my videos. You can go over there, you can sign up. I think there's like 480 members, oh my God. So anyway, and we are currently reading She's Come Undone by Wally Lamb. I'm like obsessed and in love with this book. And if you want to hear more about my feelings about it, I posted a video, I think it was just yesterday, called Why I Love This Book, or I'm So in Love with This Book. So, She's Come Undone by Wally Lamb. I talked about it at length yesterday, so I'm not going to talk about it in here today. The next book that we are reading starting this Sunday, I'm winded, for Peter's Book Club is Richard Layman's Endless Night, okay? And this is a horror novel. I always say that. I always say horror, and then people are like, what? So this is a horror novel. And I've also talked at length about this, so I'm not going to get into it any more than that. But I just said like 15 times. This is my all-time favorite horror, scary novel of life. I'm obsessed with this book. And I haven't read it in like 10 or 15 years. So I can't wait to read it again, because it just was so scary to me that I literally could not like sleep at night. I had to like lock the doors. Even one time, I was remembering this the other day, I put a chair in front of the bedroom door after it was locked because I was so scared reading this book. So true story, true story. Okay, next book that we're reading for Peter's Book Club is, now this is the second one. This one we're reading in July, which is Jackie Collins' Lucky. But at the end of June, we start reading Chances, which is the predecessor to Lucky. It's the first part of the series. And it's about Lucky Santangelo's dad. This is about Lucky Santangelo. The first part, Chances, is about like her being born and all of that kind of stuff. So if you want to participate in Peter's Book Club, like I said, it's listed below. You can go find it out. All right. Now, going forward, I want to talk about, now I am currently in the middle of reading about 6 or 7 books. So those will need to be finished first, all right? But I started reading this, and I'm like a couple pages into it. I read these when I was in 3rd grade. I loved them. At that time, there were just 3 of them. Now there's 7, and that is Witch's Sister by Phyllis Reynolds Naylor. And there's Witch's Sister, there's Witch's Water, there's The Witch Herself, and then there's 7 books, and it's a complete series, and you find out everything. And I actually got them all on Thrift Books. So each book is like 149 pages, 154 pages. So I'm super, 149 pages, because that was the frightening saga of Mrs. Tuggle continues in Witch's Water. So, I sometimes love reading middle grade series, especially if they're middle grade books. This is like elementary school. Elementary school series that I read when I was growing up. I love to do them, like Kid Power. I still want to find Kid Power. So, I think actually somebody sent me Kid Power. They sent me maybe the second one. So, anyway, I'm looking for Kid Power. I never can remember the name of that book, and see, it just flew right off my tongue. So, Phyllis Reynolds Naylor's Witch's Sister, and I'm going to try to really get into this summer and finish the series. I should also say, and I didn't pull this book over here, it is my intention to read the entire Harry Potter series this, not just this summer, but the rest of the year. So I'm really trying to get through that as well. I'm struggling. I don't know. Like, I know everybody loves Harry Potter, but maybe it's just like everybody's read it already that I'm kind of like, next, you know. All right, so I was thinking about doing another video though because I got sorted into Hufflepuff, and I thought, well, maybe I should retake the test and see what happens, see if I get sorted into another house. Wouldn't that be funny? Okay, the next book that I am going to read is, now I'm going on vacation this month, and I'm already trying to figure out what books I want to take with me. And last year when we went to Cancun for our birthdays, this is like our birthday trip, I took Leanne Moriarty's Big Little Lies, and I read it in 3 days. Now, if you watch those videos of me last year, I was like obsessed with that book. Like, I could not put it down. And it was so good, and I have since bought all of her books. I have all of her books, and her newest one is Truly Madly Guilty, and her newest paperback. And I started this, and then I just didn't get very far in it. I'm reading The Husband's Secret right now. So I think what I'm going to do is take The Husband's Secret and finish it and read Truly Madly Guilty while I'm there. So, and you know what happens? Like, this is what happened. Last year, I only took 1 book, and I finished it in 3 days. This year, I'll take 2 and not finish either one of them because I took The Husband's Secret to Florida and hardly read it at all. So I either have vacations where I read a lot, but this will be more of a like by the pool, by the beach trip. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. But if you've read this, will you let me know if you thought it was good or not in the comment section below, or let me know what your favorite Leanne Moriarty book is. All right? Okay. Next. I don't remember who sent this to me. You guys, I'm so bad about remembering who sent me books. But I talked about how much I love this book. Now, my favorite cartoonist of life is Linda Barry. And Linda Barry wrote a series of books called The Down the Street Kids around 2 sisters called Marlis and Monn. And they're very, very humorous, but at the same time, they're very endearing. And the story of Marlis and Monn, to me, is just, I don't know, like it reminds me a lot of me growing up and the characters that I had around me growing up. And you know, I was lucky enough to grow up with a lot of eccentric characters around me, and I feel blessed now, but, you know, looking back at the time, like my cousin Caroline and I, we thought they were all just crazy, you know? But that's why I love Linda Barry so much. Linda Barry wrote 1 novel, and it is called Cruddy, and I'm really excited about this. I gave away my copy years ago, and I couldn't find a copy of it anywhere, and somebody sent this to me. So this is what it's about. This is one of my all-time favorite books. It says one of the top 10 books of the year, Entertainment Weekly. On a September night in 1971, a few days after getting busted for dropping acid, a 16-year-old curls up in the corner of her ratty bedroom and begins to write. Now the truth can finally be revealed about the mysterious day long ago when the authorities found a child calmly walking in the boiling desert covered with blood. The girl is Roberta Robinson, and her ran against a world bounded by the cruddy top bedroom of a cruddy rental house on a very cruddy mud road soon becomes a detailed account of another story, one that she has kept silent since she was 11. This book is so fantastic, you guys. It is very dark and sad, but it is also fantastic. And let me tell you about another favorite that somebody sent me, and I don't know who sent me this one either, but I did put it in my vlog and in my BookTube videos at the time. So, and this is also one of my favorite books of life, one of my favorite authors of life that I don't think gets enough recognition, and it definitely doesn't get the recognition that he deserves, and that is Stuart Onan and the Speed Queen. And I read this book, I remember because I read it when my ex-boyfriend and I, our first trip that we took, which would have been 2002. So that was the last time I read this, so it was 16 years ago. I wonder when this book came out. It must have been around then sometime. Wouldn't it be funny if it was after that? No, it came out in 1997. So I read this in 2002. It is, well, here, let me read it to you. The Speed Queen is the gripping story of a twisted love triangle's drug-fueled killing spree across the desert plains, told in the voice of Oklahoma death row inmate Marjorie Standiford, who's recounting her experiences for a best-selling horror writer researching the murders. Chilling, brutal, and unrelenting, it's an unput-downable crime novel in the tradition of James M. Cain, a voyage in the dark soul of the American West. And it is fantastic. And it's more really about her story, though, than being a crime novel. I don't remember it being much of a crime novel. I mean, it is, but it's really also... Boo Radley is down here. I'm just like scratching underneath his, you guys want to see. He's so funny. Boo Radley, he says, I would like to be in a video. You always put pee-pee in videos. He always smells so good. You smell like cupcakes. He said, I do. I think I'd like to have a cupcake. I've never had a cupcake. You've never had a cupcake? He said, no, Dad. He goes, you don't allow us to have cupcakes. So anyway, I don't know. This is such a fantastic read. It's very much a summer read. So, okay. Then the next book that I'm going to read is The Reluctant Fortune Teller by Kezia Frost. And Kezia sent this to me. She even inscribed it. Dear Peter, I hope Norbert's adventure makes you laugh. And I talked about this in a book haul, but like, I'm so excited to read this book. Like, a lot of authors send me their books, but like this one, I'm super excited about reading it. Let me read it to you really quick. Norbert Zelenka has always lived life on the sidelines. It's why at 73 years old, he's broke and alone, except for the company of a chihuahua. Sound familiar? But when Carlotta's Club, three strong-willed seniors with plenty of time on their hands, decide to make Norbert their latest project, he reluctantly agrees to their scheme, establishing himself as the town's fortune teller. Soon his life begins changing in unexpected ways. It turns out that years of observing other people make Norbert an excellent card reader. As Norbert's lonesome world expands with new friendships and a newfound self-confidence, he finally finds himself in a place where he belongs, but disaster looms on the horizon. When a troubled young woman goes missing after a bad reading, Norbert must find a strength beyond the cards to bring her home safely. A heartfelt story of coming of age late in life, the reluctant fortune teller is a poignant reminder that we're never too old to learn new tricks. I wanted to start this book like so many times, you guys, in the last month. I may start it today, because I have really not a whole lot to do today, and I got up so damn early that all my stuff's done. So yeah, I'm really excited about this. I'm gonna link these books below if you guys wanna go find them, okay? The next book that I wanna read this summer, well, two of these, and I've talked about these at length, because I'm currently actually reading a chapter out of one of these, and that is Five Nights at Freddy's The Silver Eyes by Scott Cawthon and Kira Breed-Risley. It is based on a video game. 10 years after the horrific murders at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza that ripped their town apart, Charlie, whose father owned the restaurant, and her childhood friends reunite on the anniversary of the tragedy and find themselves at the old pizza place, which had been locked up and abandoned for years. After they discover a way inside, they realize that things are not as they used to be. The four adult-sized animatronic mascots that once entertained patrons have changed. They now have a dark secret and a murderous agenda. Doesn't that sound like a summer book? And if that sounds like a summer book, let me just tell you about Black Rabbit Summer by Kevin Brooks. I wanted to read this so bad. Like, I think it was on my TBR last summer, and I bought it on Thrift Books as well, I think. Thrift Books or Book Depository, and I never read it. Pete Bolin was busy doing nothing that summer. Long, stiflingly hot, lazy days stretched ahead of him. Then she called. It was Nicole. Listen, Pete, you know that fun fair up at the recreation ground? I thought we could all meet up, you know, for old time's sake. But where there are old times, there are old tensions. And as secrets, bitterness, and jealousies resurface, five old friends are plunged into the worst night of their lives. I think it sounds really, really good as a summer read. So, all right, you guys, those are my summer books. Thumbnail. So go check out these books. There's a lot of them. And I actually had one more down here, so this might be my honorable mention, and that is The Deep by Nick Cutter, but I don't know that I'll get to that, so. I mean, this is like, I love to read like ocean books and beach books in the summer, so if you have like scary books or things like that that take place in the ocean or by the ocean or beach or whatever, let me know. My recommendation would be Jaws by Peter Benchley. It is such a fantastic summer read. Anyway, I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.